So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. We have a great crowd, also in person. Thank you for coming. We also have a special guest, Randy, who is gonna give us some information about his new project towards the end of the meeting. He's getting set up right now. So let's talk about the 84, right? Pick and choose off-market properties. So it's super exciting, guys. We've been switching gears. As you know, my wife and I, we've done close to 30 rentals in the last 3 years. We started throughout the process creating ChicagoDealVault. Then we added some one-on-one training around the platform. And we realized people were still not being as successful as they should. And it's very difficult, right? In real estate, only 2-3% of the investors really make it to where they should be. So we realized that people needed access to funding and deals. So now the new approach that we've taken, and this is a huge commitment on our side, is to bring just those two components to the equation, because that's the biggest missing piece of the equation, right? Deals and help you line up funding. And that's what we're all about. So we started to do this about probably 3 months ago, and that has worked out extremely successful. We already have about 16 properties on the contract from this list. And then we've done probably 6 more. We closed on 2. We have 4 on the contract right now. We have 4 pending to close in the next 3 weeks. So it's been really, really amazing. So we're sort of staying away from, all these learning for now. The objective now is for you to do hands-on. That's the name of the game. Speed and execution, hands-on, okay? It's great if you want to learn, that's amazing. We're going to help you where you struggle, but now the new rule is you've got to be the best. And to be the best, guess what? You've got to have hands-on. Think about this. I love soccer. Think about the analogy, right? If you want to become the best soccer player, I can show you all the strategies on the board, right? I can have you sit and watch a lot of training and strategies. Will you become the best? I don't think so, right? You've got to play on the field, and this is what this is all about. So now the objective is for us to bring deals, and this is what today is all about. So through our partners' connections, we got a list of 84 properties, okay, that they are buying. So these all 84 properties are going to close on March 18th. So again, remember, time is of essence. So we have about 4 weeks to pick and choose and close on any of these properties. That's simple, okay? 4 weeks. So today is February 16, right? So 4 weeks. It's more than enough. More than enough. You can find out of the 84 properties, and everyone is going to get a copy of the list. All we need from you is to make sure that you are a DealVault member. And guess what? Today we can give you a free subscription for 30 days. So we're going to give you today a free subscription if you don't have one, and then a copy of this list. Okay. So once we share the link, if you are not a member yet, Phil, can you please share the link through the chat of how people can get access, free subscription to ChicagoDealVault for the next 30 days? So as soon as you do that, we're going to send you the list, okay? So now, because time is of essence, we want you to do due diligence, pick and choose these properties. Now, out of these properties, we have already, we got access to these about maybe less than a week ago. So far, our group, the deal makers, that's our inner circle close group of investors that shadow me and my wife. We have about over 50 deal makers had a first-hand look at these properties. So we have already taken 16 out of this list. So take a look at this list. If there's any property that you're interested in, let us know, and we're going to give you another. Yeah, we're going to give you access to another spreadsheet that will show you the status of these properties, because we want to make sure that you don't waste your time. Check with us. First of all, flag it. Do your research online. If there's one property that you're interested in, let us know, and then we're going to help you or check to make sure that it's still available, because these properties are flying left and right. So we want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. So again, you have 4 weeks. Now, how does this work? And then how much does it cost to buy the properties, and what are the fees and so forth? Let's just quickly go over. Let me share the list. So on the list, you're going to have the purchase price right here. Not the purchase price, you have the property address. Is everyone seeing okay? Let me move the camera a bit. Okay, so you have the property address, you have the PIN number, county. Let me scroll to the right. You have the type of property. It could be a multi-unit, 2 units, single-family home, condo, the number of bedrooms and bath, square footage, and then the asking price, okay? So this asking price is not negotiable. This is the best price that we can buy the properties for. And next to it, we have the ARV, okay, as of January 15. And next to that, we have the scope of work. Some of them are going to require a light rehab, some of them medium, and some of them is like a gut rehab. Okay, so you can see here on the spreadsheet the details for them. Now let me scroll to the right, and these, and then next to it, rented amount, and then market rents. So out of the 84, 64 are occupied, okay, and 20 are rented. So what does that mean? That if you end up buying an occupied property, then you need to take it with the tenant. Most of them are month to month. We do have the leases on all of them. Okay, so we'll share the leases with you so that you can see when the lease expires, and it's up to you to flip it or keep it as a rental. And then the rest 20 are vacant. Okay, so you can pursue the vacant ones and do a rehab loan. Now, how does this work? We charge 3% assignment fee on these properties, okay? That's how we make money, 3% on the purchase price, okay? The asking price that you see, that's the purchase price. Our assignment is 3%. So we're only gonna make 3% that we charge you when you buy the property. Now, you may wonder, well, Hugo, what if I don't buy it, but I have an end buyer? What if I try to wholesale these properties? Go for it. So all you need to do is tag on your fee on top of the asking price. So let me give you an example. So the first property, the asking price is $193,000, okay? So if you want to wholesale this property, tag on your fee on top of it. So offer this property to your end buyer, client, investor for, let's say, $200,000, right? So then the spread is going to be your commission, your finder's fee. Now, wholesaling, it's a licensed activity instead of Illinois. You have to be a licensed real estate broker. So how do we work that, right? We don't want to make too many assignments. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to make an assignment directly to your end buyer. And we're going to have a commission agreement between you and us. Does that make sense? So technically, you are not making the assignment. Technically, you are not doing the wholesale. We are to your end buyer. The difference is yours to keep. Now, it's up to decide who pays for the 3%. So we're only going to charge the 3% on $193,000. So you can tell your customer or your end buyer, listen, so this is the purchase price, and then there's a fee of 3%. Either you split it with your end buyer, he pays or she pays for it, or you pay for it. It's all up to you, right? So we give you that discretion to make it the way that it works for you. But again, you can wholesale all these properties. The key thing is that they have to close by the date that we specified, which is March 18th. That's the underlying contract, closing date, March 18th. Now, all these properties are currently going through underwriting, okay? All of them through underwriting. What does that mean? What it means is that the buyer, our partner, has done all the scope of works. For most of them, they have paid for the appraisals. In fact, they have 6 appraisers on this inventory. And as we speak, they are appraising the properties. They're going to be done with the appraisals by the end of the month. So by the end of the month, we will share with you the appraisals on all of these properties. I mean, obviously the ones that you're interested in, okay? So then, especially for the occupied ones, because for the occupied ones, it is the owner's instructions not to disturb the tenants, okay? The only time that anyone is going to have access to the property that is occupied is at the time of appraisal. So the appraiser, GC, just the key people who are interested or have interest on the property will go inside the property of the occupied ones. They don't want to disturb the tenants. So they will share that appraisal with us that will have, and the scope of work. So that will have everything that the property needs, recap-wise. The appraisal will show the not only as-is value, but the after-repair value based on the scope of work that we share with you, okay? If there were to be any discrepancies between the ARV, estimated ARV with the actual appraisal, then what's going to happen? 2 things. Either you back out of the deal and your earnest money is refundable. Earnest money is 3% of the purchase price, is 100% refundable. So you can back out, or if you decide to follow through and the appraisal came out lower, then we renegotiate with the seller. Does that make sense? So those are the 2 options. Super, super simple. You move forward by telling us, okay, Hugo, we want to take the first property. And then we're going to ask you, okay, are you buying the property yourself? Or are you assigning this to an end buyer? That's going to be our first question. And then you're going to say, well, I'm not going to be the buyer. My client will be the buyer. That's fine. Give us your client's contact information and LLC so that we can make the assignment directly to your client. Now, the next question is going to be, how much do you want us to make the assignment for? Our purchase price is $193,000. You're going to say, well, make it $200,000. So we're going to make the assignment for the difference, like let's say $7,000 difference, right? That the end buyer will need to pay. And then we are going to send you an agreement, a commission agreement, sort of like a marketing or buyer's agreement for the difference. So we will pay you that difference, okay? But your end buyer, your client, will actually go through underwriting and buy the property before March 18th. Again, for occupied properties, we're going to share the appraisal, scope of work, and for vacant properties, we will share the time frame of the inspection for the appraisal, okay? Because since it's vacant, we'll share that with you as they get appraised so that you can go see the vacant ones. Once the appraisal comes back, we'll share the appraisal and the scope of work with you so that we have a clear idea where we are based on the purchase contract that we establish on this asking price. So it's super simple. Earnest money, again, is going to be 3% of the purchase price. You can use any attorney that you want, that you feel comfortable. You can use any lenders that you feel comfortable with. We have a list, obviously, of lenders that we can recommend. So it's up to you. If you need a lender, let us know, and we can recommend a couple of them that can make this happen super fast. Okay, because again, time is of essence in this particular inventory because everything needs to be closed by March 18th. Are there any questions so far? I just tried to cover everything super simple. Are there any questions so far, online or here in person? Yes. Hi. Okay, so the question is, I want to wholesale one of these properties, but I still don't have an end buyer. That's okay. We give you the list today. You have time, maybe about a week's time, to market the property, because technically you can close on a property in 3 weeks. So the question is, if I don't have an end buyer, can you still assign the property over to me? We could still assign it to you, but then we're going to ask you for the earnest money. Does that make sense? That you will need to pay for the 3% earnest money. And typically, when you do a wholesale, as a wholesaler, you don't pay the earnest money. You have your end buyer pay for it. So if you want to lock the property, it's going to cost you the earnest money, right? So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Ideally, you market the property to your end buyer, and if they like the property, boom, we make the assignment directly to them, so they pay the earnest money and they start the underwriting process. Does that make sense? So you have the option to lock the property, but you have to wire the earnest money. It's refundable, but again, it's you have your money tied up in there, and you may not find an end buyer. So it's better to market the property first, test the waters, find out if your clients or your end buyers have an interest on these. If they don't, why bother to do all this paperwork, wire the money, and so forth, right? So I will hold off, do the marketing first. If there's interest, boom, we do the assignment. Great question. Anybody else?
Do our end buyer have to be a cash buyer?
Great question. Another question online. Does the end buyer have to be a cash buyer? Absolutely not. They can use a hard money lender. Cash obviously is king. So if they have cash, they can close way before March 18th. So of course, that's an option. And that's the preferred way to wholesale properties. But if not, the common denominator is the assumption that they will finance the property. So again, if you are wholesaling or buying in an occupied property, you're going to need to get a long-term rental loan, commercial, if it's under the entity, okay? You cannot get a residential loan because it has to be your primary residence. And this won't. This will be an investment property. So you need to get a commercial long-term rental loan, okay? 25 years, 6% interest rate. If you're gonna buy an occupied property, if you're gonna buy a vacant property, then you can do a fix and flip loan. That is a short-term loan. It's a 6-month engagement. You pay a couple of points, and the interest rate is gonna be like double, maybe 10% or so. So those are the two type of financing available. What's the question again? So the question is, we're going to share the appraisal with you as it comes in. Can you use that same appraisal with a different lender? And the answer is you could, but the lender won't take it. The lender is going to use their own appraisers. Yeah, because they outsource that. So they won't take it. So the question is, if there's an inspection that was done to come up with the scope of work, that there were some issues that were found and they were taken into account in the scope of work, but when you bought the property, you find more issues, right? So that's one of the risks if it's occupied, right? Because you have a tenant, we won't have the chance to actually go in there and bring an inspector. So we're 100% relying on the appraisal and the scope of work given to us. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they're saying that if they did the inspection and then something after you buy it came up, then typically there's sort of like a home warranty by the inspection company. But the thing is that these properties were not inspected by a professional licensed inspector. Yeah, no, they were inspected by a GC, by a construction company that they created the scope of work. So there was not an official inspection, because otherwise we would also share the inspection report with you. Yeah, so we'll share the appraisal and the scope of work, no inspection. Yeah. Yeah. You have to take that into account. There's unexpected, so make sure that you have a cushion. So the bottom line is that some of these properties have a lot of spread. So that's what we typically look for between the asking price and the ARV. We like to see spreads over 70,000, and we've seen spreads over 100, 120,000 on these properties. So that's what we look for, because that should be sort of like a cushion for unexpected. Randy, you had a question?
Yeah, just trying to understand, does your partner, whoever, do they have control all these properties under contract as like a portfolio or individual?
So, great question. So our partner, do they have this portfolio on the contract individually or as the entire package? Is the entire package. They have to close on every single property, 84. They need to close, but they gave us the option to pick and choose. Pick and choose the ones you want. If you don't take them, they'll still buy it. Yeah. So our partner, they have a lot of resources. So they'll close on these. Even if we don't take a single one, they'll buy them all. So this is just timing is of essence right now. You've got to get on these and right away do your due diligence and pick and choose what you like. Are there any questions online?
Diego, I have a question.
Yes, Sam.
For the property that is 193,000. So if I add 7,000 to it as my broker commission, it will be about 200, and then you need 3% on top of that. So my end buyer will pay 206. Is it correct?
Okay, so the question is the first property, 197 purchase price, and they're gonna tag on their assignment fee, 7,000. So the purchase price is gonna be 200. You will pay the 3%, which is gonna be how we make money on the asking price. Because if you sell it for $1 million, we're not gonna charge you 3% on $1 million. No, we'll just charge you 3% on 193,000. And then that 3% is up to you. Either you pay from your from the agreement that we have between you and I on your assignment fee or wholesale fee per se, or you have your end buyer pay for it. But it's going to be 3%, not on the purchase price they're going to pay for, but on the purchase price that we are selling you the property for. Yeah, great question, Sam. Anybody else?
So your assignment fee plus the commission I want to get will be added to that 193 or 93,000.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
If you're already a DealVault member, then how do you get the list?
Okay, the question is, if you're a DealVault member, how do you get the list? Do me a favor via the chat, please let us know. And then Phil is online, so he's going to email you the list right away as we speak. So they'll send you the list. If you're a DealVault member, send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com. Okay, so you can do that right now. And then we have our backend team who is going to email you the list as we speak, if you're a DealVault member. If you're not, click on the link, sign up for free, and then we'll send you the list right away today, right now. Yes.
Buyer wants to see the property, but it's a tenant in there, so we can't see the property. The buyer can't see the property. So how does that?
So the question is, if you want to wholesale the property and your end buyer wants to see the property, if it's occupied, we won't be able to see it because that's the owner's instructions. That for occupied properties, only the appraiser, the construction people will see the property, and we will be given the appraisal and the scope of work. So we're relying on that. And we also have the leases. So we'll give you the leases, the scope of work, and appraisal with pictures. So all that information for you to take a decision whether you want to take it. So they won't be able to see the property. So that's the caveat here. But again, if there's a big spread on the property, it's okay. I think you can surely rely on the appraisal. Absolutely. You should be able to do that. In fact, we're going to talk about that in just a second, our new approach on sourcing great deals. I'm going to show you our secret and how we get them on the contract. But Another question, Randy.
Yeah, so what capacity does the contractor have to do the construction? So if you wanted to hire that contractor that provided the scope of work with the price that they gave you.
Great question. So the question is, if we're sharing the scope of work that was provided by a big construction company, can you utilize them if you decide to move forward? The answer is yes. So if you want to move forward, I mean, that's a big construction company. You can use them. If you like the scope of work, the quote, the bid, by all means, you can use them. Yeah, that's a great question.
I have a question online. Hugo, hi.
Yeah, there's another question. Sorry, one more question online. Go ahead, Valerie.
Hi, Hugo, and everyone else. Thank you for this presentation. I appreciate it. The current list that's different now from the original list, because some of the properties have already been accounted for. When will we be able to see that for those of us that have already purchased the list? And for those of us that have purchased the list, are the people that are getting the list tonight going to be purchasing the list? Why did I purchase the list and they don't have to purchase it? Please
okay.
Clarify.
Yes, so great question. So Valerie is asking, last week, we sold the lease for $99, and you also were given access to ChicagoDealVault, okay? So the reason why you paid $99 is because you had a head start of about a week's time, right? So time is of essence. So if you picked a property, guess what? People were getting the lease for free. It sort of has less value a week later because guess what? It's being seen by more investors. If I give this list, I show you the list by next week, guess what it's worth? Nothing. Does that make sense? Because all the great deals are going to be gone. Time is of essence. That is why our deal makers had a first-hand look at this list. They already picked 16 properties, right? So time is of essence. So that's the reason, Valerie, why we charged last week $99. Today we don't charge, and next week, if I give you the list, maybe I need to pay you $99. Yeah, because then.
My question is that list now that is minus the 16 properties that have been claimed for. When will we have access to that list?
Okay, for those of you who paid for the list last week, Phil, can you please make a note? We are going to send them the updated list that shows the properties that are no longer available, okay? And we're going to make that available as well. So we have two lists. One is that has everything, and the other one that shows the ones that have been assigned, okay? Great question, Valerie. Thank you. Thank you. One question over here, Julian. So yeah, the question is, so let me show you. If I go to this property, this is the one that we're going to share with all of you because this is updated daily, showing the properties that have been taken. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, oh, look at this, sold. If it has HG, those are my initials. So our group is buying all of these. So as you can see, HG is in many of them. Look, and we're buying more as we speak. Now, on the left-hand side, you see this column, it says appraisal. So we have the date when the appraiser is gonna go to the property, and if it has a tick on the scope of work, that means that this property should have a scope of work, okay? So we will be sharing the appraisal and the scope of work. So on the date that we show here is when the appraisal happens. So we need to give some time for the appraiser to send us back the appraisal. So we're gonna share this particular list, the one that says sold. So we will send you that so that you don't waste your time on these ones. Great question, Julian. Anybody else? Any other questions? Anthony. Yes. Yes, Anthony, I know. We met 2 days ago. Yes. So the question is, go ahead. Okay. So the question is, how do you legally market the list, right? If because to wholesale, in Illinois, you have to be a licensed broker. To market a property, you have to have it on the contract, correct? Otherwise, you are not doing something correct or right. So now we will send you, if you're going to do a blast, this is the key. If you're going to talk to your investor, hey, you know, I have a couple of properties that I think you might be interested, it's not a big deal. But if you're going to market or put this on Facebook or in social media, then we need to have some sort of agreement that gives you the permission to do so from us. That's about it. Sort of like a designated agent from our brokerage, right? So we just need to work out the details. We're preparing, Anthony. We're making some adjustments and changes to the agreement. But yeah, in essence, if you're going to do a big blast, then yeah, we'll have to have an agreement so that you will be okay. But again, if you're going to wholesale the property, you're technically not doing a wholesale because we will make the assignment directly. So all you are doing is sort of the marketing, helping us with the marketing effort. So we will have that agreement in place. So yeah, time is of the essence, yes. So, but in the meantime, can you please talk to you? I know you have a couple of investors. Can you talk to them and give them heads up? Exactly. So hopefully maybe the agreement is ready. I'll check with the team tonight and maybe you take it tonight. Thank you, Anthony. Anybody else? Any other questions online?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Peter. I just got a quick question. Do you do any type or kind of partnership?
If I do any type of what? Say that again. Sorry, Peter.
Partnership.
Oh, partnerships. Great. I'm glad you talked about these. Yes, the answer is yes. We do partnerships. So let's dive into it. That's a really great question, and I want to dive into the partnerships. So real estate, you need to have money, credit, experience, primarily, right? And guess what? Most of us don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And time, you need also time. So what we've done is, this group that we have, the deal makers, guess what? They are forming partnerships. They're working with each other to help each other. How do you think we have now taken 16 properties out of this inventory? Do you think these are 16 different people? No, this is a group of people working together, joining synergies. Because guess what? One property may have 4 people, 5 people in it. One is going to put the money for the reserves. Another one is going to get the loan because they have a great track record, right? So they're going to get the best terms. And maybe 2-3 people will become sort of facilitators. They're going to be boots on the ground. They're going to be in charge of the entire project from beginning to completion. So guess what? When you join forces, magic happens. And that's what we are doing. That is why, you know, our initials are in 16 properties. So joining forces between you guys, this is what we are really good at. And that is why we created this group of the deal makers. So let me quickly show you what that's all about. So now that you guys, so let me pull it up on the screen so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me move on to the next slide. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna need to click on this thing. So this is what we're doing with the deal makers. I'm gonna put it all up on the screen. Access to potential deals, off-market and MLS deals, okay? That's what I told you at the beginning of the presentation. For you to be successful, unless you have access to funding and deals, you have no chance. You're gonna be left so far behind. You've gotta secure funding, okay? That's super, super critical. And a perfect example is that we got 2 properties on the contract in fact, Randy, he's the listing agent, right, Randy? 2 properties. When are we supposed to close on those 2 properties, Randy? Yeah.
I actually, I have to look up the date. I believe it is the March 2nd.
March 2nd, guys. So if you do the math, and how are we supposed to pay for these properties?
Cash.
Cash, right? So guess what? We're gonna make it happen. 2 properties we got on the contract yesterday, and then we're gonna talk about that, how we got those properties on the contract, right? Because they were amazing properties. I mean, you'll be surprised. I'll show you some pictures, but securing funding is gonna be critical. Tomorrow, we're gonna get 2 other properties on the contract in Lansing, and guess what? We need to close by March 2nd. Guess what? All the funding is already lined up for that. Cash offers, but guess what? They're amazing deals. We cannot let them go, okay? So securing funding is gonna be critical. That's something that we're gonna help you do that. So when you have these 2 pieces of the puzzle, guess what? You have, I would say, 50% of your real estate game done. Just 50%. Don't think that if you have a great deal and funding, you have 100%. No, you only have, I would say, 50%. I'm gonna show you where the other 50% is gonna come from, right here. Joint ventures. And this is what the question on the line was. Do you do joint ventures? This is where the other 50% comes from. Because guess where we're getting the cash from to do 4 properties and pay cash for them? Where do you think that's coming from? Here. So we already have 84 properties off market that you won't find on the MLS. But do you think we're gonna buy 16 properties, even if we have the funding? How are we gonna make it happen, right? Because guess what? You may have the money to pay for the property, but guess what? I don't think you have the time or perhaps the rehab experience to take on 1, 2, 3 deals, right? If we're gonna take 16 properties, how do you think that's gonna happen? JVs. This is how you can grow exponentially in real estate. In fact, let me put it so simple. We are in the people's business. This is where we are, in the people's business. This is just the mean to reach financial freedom, but your primary objective should be JVs, people's business. Because let me reverse engineer our recent success in the last 3 months, I would say. How do you think we got 84 properties off market? Through relationships. And before that, we got 21 properties off market on the contract in South Holland. How do you think we got them? Because we're smart, because we have nice faces, because we have money, because we have funding lined up? No, the answer is relationships. How do you think we got these properties on the contract from yesterday? From Randy, because of our relationship. It just took a phone call, right? So let me give you an example. The property that we have on the contract, one of them in Dalton, we have it on the contract for $65,000. As soon as he stepped in the room today, Randy told me, guess what, Hugo? I have an offer for how much, Randy?
$95,000.
$95,000. He's got an offer for $95,000, yet we got it on the contract with him for $65,000. How does that work? Do you think it's because we have a lot of money? No, we don't. Or the funding, we do have some of these, but it's because of relationships. So if you want to be successful in real estate, you've got to have a great network of support. That's what it boils down to. And I saw that, right? We started doing the software, right? ChicagoDealVault. That's technology. Then we added some training, right, to it. Things still didn't track. It's not how we became successful doing 40 rentals. It was through relationships. And now my wife and I, once we reverse engineer everything we did, we said, how did we get to 40 properties in 3 years, so 2.5 years? Let's reverse engineer that, and let's do it in a bigger scale with steroids. So we created the deal makers, and boom, I'm going to show you in such a short amount of time, it's over 100 properties that we've gotten. We're going to be closing on over 30 properties in the next month. I mean, it's just insane, but it's thanks to partnerships, working together. The next piece is access to the power team. This is a really big one, right? What's the biggest nightmare of all investors? Can you guess? What's the biggest nightmare? Huh? No, it's not time. Exactly, dealing with contractors. That's the biggest nightmare, right? They say they're going to do something. Mañana never comes, right? So it's really tough. So what we've done is we are sharing our resources among the deal makers, and that's been amazing because even before you close on the property, guess what? You already have like 2 scope of works in writing because we're sharing resources. We're all helping each other, right? So that's been amazing. Even with the deal makers, they didn't have any resources. Overnight, boom, they have licensed GCs, electricians, plumbers, HVAC. So that's been amazing, extremely powerful. So this is something that we realized we needed. So in essence, you're going to be more successful, happier, have more joy, and make more money. So this obviously works for newbie seasoned investors. So this is what we've done, right? When we get these batches of off-market properties, we schedule, we call them buying bus tours, okay? We want to show them to you. In fact, we did a bus tour maybe 2 weeks ago. We showed 8 properties. We bought 3 properties. Out of the 8, we ended up buying 3 properties. So these are properties that we have on the contract that we show you. And then if you buy them, again, we have them on the contract for $75,000. And then you pay us 3%, right? And then, so this closed already. This is in Markham. Markham is a really hot area with Amazon warehouses being there. Circle, this also closed. This has been rehabbed already. Then we are, now something that we're doing right now, Sixto, right? So one of our members, David, he got this property on the contract. And then through, what's the key word that I want to hear? Through partnerships, guess what? David couldn't buy the property. He couldn't rehab it. So we did a partnership. David, we need the capital partner who's going to get the loan, in this case, Sixto, and we need the crew to do the work. That's us. We are now starting to partner with you guys, with deal makers, to fill in the missing piece and to make things happen. So this is, these properties on their rehabbing right now. Another one, Luis, right? So he got this property in Lansing on the contract last week. We got an amazing deal on this property. It's occupied, so it's going to be a great rental, but amazing price on this one in Lansing. This one, Artesian, this is a beautiful building that we got on the contract over the weekend, last Sunday, not last Sunday, but the previous Sunday. Ernie is buying these 2 flat, the best structure we saw. When we take you to see these properties, we bring a licensed inspector and a GC. In fact, there were like 3 GCs on the bus. So we get on the bus and we do a thorough assessment, a 3-minute assessment from the experts, the inspector, the GC. They tell you the red flags, how much it's going to cost, and right there, you raise your hand if you want the property. So Ernie raised his hand, and now he's going through underwriting. Luis has an appraisal scheduled for this Friday, 10 a.m. Roy, he got this property. This is in an amazing location. Blocks away from Oak Park, a few blocks away from Cicero. So amazing property. He got for like 120, 122. It will appraise for 160, 150 something. Roy is a GC. He's part of us, deal makers. And now, this is super important, guys. Let's talk about this, because the 84 properties, please make sure that you wholesale at least one of them, because you should breathe and think about wholesaling as your right arm or left. If you're left, you're righty. Why? Because guess what? A deal that the numbers make sense, If you don't want to take that property, guess what? There's going to be somebody else that is going to take it. If it's not in your area, your neighborhood, it's okay. Somebody else will take it if the numbers make sense. So you always have to think wholesaling. If I don't take it, why leave money on the table? Why don't you wholesale the property? Like this property in Linwood, this was part of the bus tour. We went to the property. It needed work. It had some issues, I guess, in the back structure based on the inspector's assessment. So our purchase price was going to be $122,000. Our deal maker said, Hugo, I'm willing to pay $110,000. We talked to the seller. The seller said, Hugo, I'm giving you these properties for almost nothing. I'm making less than $10,000. So my bottom line is going to be $122,000. I said, fine. We ended up wholesaling the property to an end buyer for $130,000. So we made $7,600 on a wholesale. So that's something that we are extremely heavy on now, wholesaling. And I want you to keep that in mind. So we're so heavy into this that we've been so fortunate and lucky. I think Russell might be online. Russell Walker, one of the biggest wholesalers in the Chicagoland area, called me mid-November. So we've been friends. He's been in the business for over 10 years. When we started 3 years ago, he was so nice to me. I remember he put me on the stage and I didn't even know how to talk or say anything or have no clue about real estate yet. He called me my partner. That made me feel so proud. And nowadays, we kept in touch. He moved to Florida. And then he called me in mid-November. He said, Hugo, I got fired from my brokerage. Do you wanna, can I work for you? So I'm a managing broker. I said, this is the best day of my real estate career. Having one of the top wholesalers in the Chicagoland area work for me when, he's a big shot, right? And he let me present in one of the events. He filled the room, right? Yet he called me partner when I had nothing to offer. Well, I had like 100-page PowerPoint that, I had no clue, so I was relying on that thing. But now we're so heavy into this. Let me show you the next screen. See how much money I have wired over to Russell in the deals we've done since he joined. So he joined mid-November. So this is February 15, so that's maybe yesterday. So completed wire transfers, Russell Walker. You just need to see the amounts. They add up to $80,000 in deals that we've done together in the last 3 years. 3 months. Does that make sense? Can you get an idea of how powerful wholesaling is? It's just amazing. So we're wholesaling properties left and right. We joined forces. Not only did we join forces, we joined infrastructure. We joined technology. So I told Russell, man, you're doing something amazing, and I want every single one of the deal makers to be part of this. By the way, this is Sixto. That's the guy who is doing Barrett in Elmhurst. He purchased that, and we're partners on that one. Anyway, so I told Russell, you're doing something amazing, so we've got to join forces and do it together. Not only that, because it's not about you, Russell, it's about the deal makers. I want everyone to mimic what you're doing. So now, when you join the deal makers, you will automatically become part of Russell's training. We're going to give you access to a dialer. We're going to give you access to CRM. We're going to give you the leads. We have automation in place. We even automated the follow-up campaign. So when you happen to talk to an off-market seller who is not ready to sell, but you had a meaningful conversation, guess what? All we need to do is fill in his name or her name, address, and your contact information. We have an automated 381 follow-up campaign. We'll send emails, text message to the seller on your behalf. When they're ready to pull the trigger, guess who they're going to call? You. That is why we're able to reach these type of transaction numbers, 80,000 in the last 3 months. So when you join our group now, you will automatically be part of the wholesaling effort with Russell. If you have a property that you want to wholesale, it only takes one showing for us to move the properties. Why? Because of our extensive network of investors, and cash buyers primarily. So this is going to be really cool. I was thinking, I'm a managing broker, and then the only person that was hanging the license with me, guess who it was? No, well, it was me, and then my wife. She became a broker. But I realized if we're going to become the biggest and the best deal machine, meaning, I shouldn't say deal machine because there's a software called Deal Machine. I should say the biggest moving deal train machine. How about that? So then I realized we're going to need brokers on our side. So we've been working closely with Frank Montreux. He's the number one broker in the South Chicago, South suburbs. And then we decided to have brokers join our brokerage. So Albert, recently joined. So kudos to and big round of applause to Albert. He joined today. We have Jerry, we have Mark Goodman, we have Andrea, we have my wife, myself, and now Frank dedicated another broker to help us. So what does this mean? Okay, you hire brokers. So what does that mean? Well, it means a lot. Because guess what? We have developed a system that we're scanning. We call this the Ambar Alert System. What does that mean? We scan the entire MLS. Once we identify a potential good deal, we're going to run the numbers, ARV, rehab, the most you should pay for the property. And if it becomes an Amber Alert, we flag it. The same day, our brokers are on it. We're on the phone. And in fact, that's how we got these two properties from Randy. As soon as we saw that on the market, boom, like this property, it's MLS. We bought this property in Dalton. We pay $55,000, it's worth $120,000. And we put $25,000 in rehab. So a home run deal. This is the one that we got on the contract yesterday from Randy in Dalton, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. We have it on the contract for $72,000. ARV on this property is $138,000. In other words, we're paying 50 cents on the dollar. Guess what the rehab on this is going to be? Less than $10,000. It's got a plumbing issue on the main pipe. We took our GC, but minor stuff. Brand new windows, amazing brick, mechanicals in great shape, and then some work on the garage, on the siding, but less than $10,000. The next property, again, we have it on the contract yesterday in Dalton for $65,000. I just couldn't believe it. When I saw the property, from the back, it was boarded up, 2 windows. I was like, oh my goodness. As soon as we walk in the property, it's been fully rehabbed. I just couldn't believe. New kitchen, new bathroom. And if you look up the address, it says like the legal description, because we do soft title pools on the properties. It says 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And then it's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. One of the back rooms could be turned into a bedroom. So we can make this a 4-bedroom. But let's leave it as a 3-bedroom. Hardwood floors, new bathrooms, new kitchen. It's painted. Upstairs, the only thing that it needs is the flooring upstairs. Even the closet doors are there. Brand new windows throughout. So the boarded up was just just to protect, I guess, the windows, because behind the board, the wood, you have a brand new window. Mechanicals, new, or the water heater is new, the furnace is newer. So the rehab on these is going to be, I would say, $15,000. Less than $15,000, we can do the rehab in a week and a half. If we put our crew on this property, week and a half, we're in and out. So this is the property we have it on the contract for $65,000 that Randy got an offer for $95,000. As is. So imagine if we put in $15,000, what we can sell these for, right? So there's a $40,000, $50,000 spread on this property. This came from the Ambar Alert system that we implemented. So this is what the Ambar Alert system looks like. On a daily basis, we're flagging properties. So we show you, the link, the red fin, the listing price. So in this case, this is the property that Randy had that came on the market on the 13th. As soon as we saw it, it's asking price 74, ARV 135, and then we do a rehab. This is the actual rehab, 10,000. So the most max allowable offer was 93,000. So the offer that he got today for 95,000 makes sense. Well, actually, it was for the other property. So you could pay up to 93,000 for the property we have on the contract for 72,000. There's a spread of 20,000 on this property. Okay, so right away this becomes an Ambar alert. So we got on the phone, and guess what? We're connected with many great listing agents like Randy, Frank, and many more. So let me cancel that call. So that's the critical part. It all boils down to, what did I say? It starts with P, partnerships, relationships, right? That's how we got the property on the contract. And Randy's here today. So this is what the Amber Alert is all about. We jump on it and we get it on the contract. So what else? Funding. So we're gonna help you line up funding through our Harmony Lender broker. So it's really amazing. When you join the group, the first thing we're gonna ask you to do is, boom, connect you with our funding partners for you to get an approval or proof of funds. Because we're sourcing too many deals, you've got to be able to pull the trigger. For that, you need a proof of funds. If you don't have one, then we'll get it on the contract on your behalf. So what else will you need? Establish partnerships. So this is huge, guys. Check this out. Check how we do the partnerships. We profile every single one of you. On the left, we put people with dollar signs. They have capital. On the right, people with experience and time. So guess what happens? You see the mix? So we put people that have experience and time with people who have money. So we facilitate the partnerships. And this is huge because thanks to partnerships, we've been able to take on 16 properties out of this inventory. So this is going to be critical because we help you and we give you the access to who you need to connect with. So it's so simple connecting the dots. Either you're on the right or on the left. That's it, right? So this makes things way easier because you might be sitting in a room, you don't know each other, right? And that's a shame, that's a pity because maybe your neighbor could be your next amazing partner for the next 2-3 deals. Not only that, you will also establish a great partnership. Our synergies and friendship in the deal makers has become amazing. So this is how we establish partnerships, and this is what the question was, right? So yeah, we give you access to our power team, and this is just great, right? So this is all that. I'm just gonna summarize it. So you're gonna get access to great deals, funding, most importantly, partnerships. So this is 50% of the game. The other 50% is with the partnerships, and then we solve the headache of the contractors. So guys, if you are interested in becoming a deal maker, come see me at the end, okay? Come see me at the end. And then if you're online, if you're interested, we're gonna call you tonight. So if you can please put online your phone number and email, we're gonna call you tonight. We have a couple of people who is gonna be calling you tonight. If you're interested in learning more and becoming part of the deal maker family, please put your phone number, your name, your email on the chat. We will call you tonight, okay? And then if you're here present in the room, you can just come towards the end of the meeting and then we can discuss how you can become a deal maker, okay? Not a deal breaker, a deal maker, okay? We want you to do deals. That's what it's all about. And that phrase came from Sixto last night in the meeting. We don't want you to rock the boat on certain things. We want you to become a deal maker. So that's the answer for the questions on especially the partnerships. That's huge. So let me take you in I'm gonna give you a quick peek on the portal that we use for the deal makers. So this is the portal. Let me minimize this screen. Move this over. Okay. Doesn't want to let me move this over. Let me see if I go back. Okay, so this is the list of the 84, so perfect. So let me show you, the properties in green are the ones that we're taking, but what I want you to see is this, how we work together as a team. So you have an entity name, and next to it, we have a bunch of people. That's what we talk about by partnership. So if I scroll down, this is how we're buying all these properties, because we have people working together as a team, okay? Let me see if I can go back to the main portal. Yeah, it's not letting me move this. But this is in a nutshell how we can make things happen. And I want you to be part of something great. So I don't want you to miss the boat. And that's what I told people that I've met one-on-one, right? You need support, you need deals, you need funding, right? So I don't want you to spin your wheels, waste your time. If you don't have that, I tell people, you know, it's best if you perhaps do something else other than real estate, because you're going to be left so far behind that it's not even funny, right? I don't want you to spin your wheels. You've got to be part of a great network, a great group where you have support and access to great things, such as deals, funding, and most importantly, partners. That's the name of the game, partners, okay? Are there any questions going back to the inventory of the 84? Okay, go ahead, Jimmy.
Phil did send it to me. I noticed that it's the complete list. There's none that are highlighted. The ones that are taken.
Oh, okay, so if you got the list, we're gonna make sure, it even has pictures. When you click on the property address, it even has pictures. But we're gonna make sure, some of these properties look pretty amazing. I randomly click on some of them, they have a really solid structure. But we'll make sure that you have the portion that says the ones that are sold. So we'll just take a snapshot as of today and send you the ones that have been sold, so you don't waste your time. So Phil, do me a favor, on the back end, can you take a screenshot of the addresses that have been sold, and can you include that in the list that we sent? Just a screenshot of the property addresses that have been sold. Thank you, Phil. So yeah, you guys will get that. Great question. Thank you, Julian. Any other questions on this inventory? Anything that you have going on? Any struggles? Anything that is online?
Rico, I have a question.
Yes.
If I have 100 and my investor have 100 and we like to invest together and buy something, the best, safest venture would be a joint venture or agreement to protect both of us?
Exactly. So the question is, Sam has 100,000, his partner has 100,000. What's the best way to protect their investment? The best way to do that is to obviously have everything in writing, like the JV, joint venture agreement. You can even record that. But most importantly, you need experts betting the deal, right? You need great rehabbers or GCs to do the work. That's what it boils down, because you have the resources, you have the money. We just need to make sure that the deal makes sense. Like you're currently doing a deal, right, in Arlington Heights?
Yes.
Exactly. So what we would do on your behalf is make sure that we vet the deal, we inspect the property to make sure that the numbers are going to make sense. That's how we can help you, and then we help you with the legal paperwork through our preferred attorneys.
And then if we pay the construction cost 50-50, half and half, at the end when we sell it, the title company will split the money.
Yeah, Sam is saying if you split the construction work, I mean, you can split 50-50. Yeah, you can do the JV in a different ways, but let me tell you the simple way to do a JV. Somebody brings the deal, but in this case, that's sort of like out of the question because we're bringing you the deal. So now the next question is you need money for the reserves, and you need somebody that has credit so that they can become the guarantor and get the loan on your behalf with the best terms. And then you also need the boots on the ground or the construction. So you need ideally two partners, one with the money and credit and the other one with the rehab experience. Okay, those are the two pieces because we're giving you the deal. So you don't need more than that, but if you have more people who can help be boots on the ground, yeah, they also get a piece of the pie. But that's in a nutshell how you structure JVs. The one that we structure with Sixto is as follows. So Sixto became the guarantor on the property, right? So his name is on the line. The loan is under his name. The property is under his company name. Now, to buy the property, we had to bring $30,000 to closing. To start the rehab, we needed $30,000 because guess what? It's in an A neighborhood. It's Elmhurst, right? So the property appraised for $400,000. We got it for $220,000. Rehab is going to be about $55,000. So again, he's the capital partner. I mean, not the capital, the guarantor. Now the $30,000 for the closing and the $30,000 to start the rehab came from a different partner, Lisa and John. They brought the money, the cash, and us, we stepped in to do the rehab. You see how that relationship, partnership work? How are we splitting the profit? Sixto is getting 40% of the profit. Why? His name is on the line. If we screw up, guess whose name is on the line? His name. So 40%, 30% for Lisa and John, because they're putting the cash on a property that is not even theirs, and us doing the work, right? In fact, yesterday was our first draw inspection, right? It went really well. So we just need to wait and see what they come up with. But yeah, we're going to recycle the money. But that's an example of another JV. Another JV is that somebody brings the entire money for the purchase and the rehab, 100%. And then you are in charge of the rehab, dealing with the tenant or dealing with the sale of the property. And then you go 50-50. So one is 100% just capital partner, passive investor. They're not charging money on they're not charging interest on their money, and you do the rest. The rehab, dealing with the tenant or selling the property. You're in charge of running the whole thing. And then you go 50-50 on that. So those are just examples. Great question, Sam. Anybody else on the line?
Thank you.
So no problem. I want to make sure that you all get the list today for free. If you don't have it, please, if you're a DealVault member, you get it for free. And then if you're not, just get a free subscription for the next 30 days of DealVault, 140 after that, and then you get it. And then if you're interested in becoming part of something amazing, come see me at the end, and then we can get you started in the Dealmakers family. If you're online, please send us your email, your name, your phone number, and we will call you tonight to help you get started into the Dealmakers family, because we want you to do deals. And this is exactly what we did with the 84 properties, right? We have already taken 16. So raise your hand if you're a deal maker here in the room. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have almost half, or no, 1/3 of the room is deal makers. How has it been? Who wants to come up on? Dan, you're fairly new. Do you wanna come up? Yeah, just give us your opinion, your honest opinion.
Sure.
Here, so that they can hear in the camera, so they can see in the camera.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, fairly new to deal makers and met some great people. Love the joint venture and the partnership aspect, and I tell you what, there's just a ton of activity going on in the group, and I look at it as just a constant pipeline of properties to look at if you're an investor looking to accumulate properties. And it just seems like every week that goes by, Hugo's coming up with another stream or another channel of properties coming through. So it's pretty exciting. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Dan. So yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. We're very fortunate to happen to work with the key players in the industry, because again, it's all about relationships, partnerships. Any other questions online or in the room? So if no further questions, at the end of, yes, Stan. Yeah, there's another question by Stan.
I went to put in the earnest money for a couple properties of the 84.
Yes.
The bank says that the reference number, I thought it was supposed to be the address of each property separate, and they have the same reference number, 831 North Costner, Chicago, on all three of them. So, and I talked to a couple other people, and they have that number, the same reference number, same exact numbers. So are all
Okay.
80 properties going to be the earnest money be put in the same fund? Without, how would we
Yes.
know who put what?
Yes. We'll confirm that with the seller. So the question is,
Yeah.
we have already wired 3% of the purchase price on most of these properties to the title company. But the question is, they gave us only one reference number. So the question is, how do they know where the earnest money we're sending belongs to? What property?
The number they have is 831 Costner,
Yeah,
which
so
is
we'll
the
just confirm that
property.
with the title company tomorrow, just to make sure that the money that is being wired for escrow, it goes to the right
Okay,
place, and they create a folder per property. Thank you, Stan.
thanks.
So anybody else online who would like to share your experience as being part of the deal makers? Stan, well, do you want to go, or anybody else?
Yeah, so far it's been real good. Busy as heck, but learning a lot and meeting a lot of people and learning how to get along, I guess.
Perfect, thank you. So he said it's been great. He's meeting a lot of people and learning a lot. So thank you, Stan. Are there any other questions before we introduce Randy? He's gonna talk about a new strategy. He's doing some new projects. So I would like to have him talk for 10, 15 minutes or so. And then after his talk, you guys can come see me at the end. But if you are online, and if you're ready to learn more about becoming part of the deal makers, please put your name, and then Phil is going to start to call you right now. If you don't have the list, please make sure that you get the list right now, so you start scrubbing the list. And if you want to partner up, if you want to be part of a partnership in this venture, we'll just need to take you as a deal maker, and then we'll make sure that we include you into this group that we have going on, right? So because many properties already have partners, even if you don't have any money, right? So you don't need to have money to buy properties. Why? Partnerships. Because many of these partners already brought the reserves. They already have the credit, the track record. So you don't need to have money to buy these properties. If you want to build your track record and be on the title on these properties, because we're going to create 16 new LLCs to purchase these properties, to add people, part of the deal makers. So if you want to be part of these, please make sure that you don't miss the boat, right? How often do you get to see these many properties that come your way off market? How often? Not often, right? So this is a one in a lifetime, right? So it's not easy, okay? So don't miss the boat. March 18th is the firm deadline. So we're at a perfect time frame right now, today. That is why I wanted to do a live event, webinar, everything for you to take advantage, seize the opportunity, because that's what real estate is all about. And that's one of the things that I really like about Sixto. When I spoke with him today, I told him, I love your execution. He doesn't always know the answers, but he pulls the trigger left and right. I mean, he executes like no tomorrow. And I love that about Sixto. He already took several properties from the list, or a couple of them. So execution is just amazing. So, because let me tell you this, execution trumps knowledge all day long. People say knowledge is power. Yes, it is, but execution trumps knowledge all day long. You've got to execute, and you've got to be part of a great group that can help you, support you. And again, you need to be hands-on. That's the key. If you want to be successful in real estate, hands-on experience. That's what you need. So if you don't want to miss the boat and you still want to be part of this group, you're still at a perfect timing. We'll make you part of this effort. So come see me. If you're online, please put your contact information. Phil Lovely are going to call you tonight, okay, to make you part of the Deal Makers family. If no further questions, go ahead. Sam,
nice shirt, Hugo. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sam. So let's invite Randy. Thank you for coming, Randy. Thank you for being a great partner. Thank you for the last two properties that we got from you yesterday.
You want to try this?
Sure, I'll try these. Yeah. So if you want to quickly introduce yourself. It's nice.
Cleaner than mine, I'm
yeah,
sure.
it's sanitized.
Here's
Yeah, right.
okay. Hi everyone. I'll get right here. Whoa. Hey everybody, I know a few of you, but I'll try to make this quick. You said I'd have 15 minutes, and usually I spend 15 minutes on my intro, so I really have to cut it down. So my name is Randy Pertler. A little background on myself. I was a teacher coach, became a VP of sales of the division of 3 different publishing companies. But 3 times in my career, my position was eliminated. So I turned to real estate, started doing it full time, got educated, got trained, part of an education group. I now am also a licensed broker, and I'm building a national brokerage team. And that brokerage, the team that I'm working with, we also are investor friendly, which there's not a lot of brokers out there that are or even can be. So something else, I also have a YouTube channel. I appreciate the gentleman for signing up on my YouTube channel already. I encourage you to subscribe. There's a lot of property tours there. A lot of the deals that I've done are up there. Yeah, just the very first slide there. Yep. And so my YouTube channel is just youtube.com/Randy Pertler, which is right here. This is a little bit in the way there. My youtube.com/Randy Pertler. Get my YouTube channel. It's just, if you subscribe, every time you click or I post a new video, which I did just the other day, you'll get a notification that there's a new video out there. But the other thing that I'm excited about, when I talked to Hugo about, and I do appreciate him giving me the opportunity to talk, is my latest venture, which involves crowdfunding. And just wanted to, expose you to a few things regarding crowdfunding and how that works. So when you're doing a rehab, and that's what this is right here, I guess, you want me to click it, or you want to? I can do it. Okay, you know what, will that be automatic? Or is that not? Okay, all right. So these are just some of my rehabs, all right, before and afters. Go ahead and click through. So these are projects I've done over the last, couple of years. And stop. Okay, now doing those flips, and it sounds like we teamed up together, but we don't. Partnerships, as you notice this, I have funded most of my deals over the last few years, and I don't know exactly how many. I think it's over 150. I just thank God and praise God for every one of those. Almost every one of them was done through what I call equity partnership model. And in the equity partnership model, I have partners that provide 100% of the funding. I do 100% of the work, and then we split the profits 50-50. So this is a funding model that I've used for years to fund my deals without any money, any of my own money or credit. So lately, I've also been getting into short-term rentals. If you go ahead and click it. So this is one of my latest short-term rentals. This is out in McHenry. We purchased it for $810,000. It's 6,000 square feet, swimming pool. It's on 7.5 acres. We just bought it and we made it live on Airbnb and VRBO on November 11th. And for the balance of November, we had $15,000 worth of business in just those 3 weeks. December, we booked just under $25,000 worth of business in 1 month. We've already pretty much, I think we've got July filled. We got we're bringing in $9,000 over Memorial Day weekend, 3-day weekend, $9,000. We're doing it from events. Just a typical night, it's $1,000 per night, $2,000 on the weekends, plus in the summer, it's $2,500 on the weekends, plus $30 per person. So when you're doing something like this, what you may consider is a different funding model that we use to do this one. Go ahead and click it. So this one was kind of a hybrid on the other one, in that we brought in members, equity partners, brought in about $165,000. Then we also had a private lender at $80,000 that's on the deal. The funny thing about it is the private lender, we offered him a partnership in the deal. He didn't get it. Like, way out in McHenry, I don't get it. No one's going to go out there. Why would anybody go out there? It's not going to be successful. We said, okay, how about us be safe? Just be a private money lender for 8%. Well, he probably would have made about 20% on his money. Instead, he didn't understand the industry, didn't understand what we were doing. So he settled for 8, and we love it because now we're paying that house down. We'll own it free and clear. Eventually he'll be paid off and we'll have that house of our own. So that was another thing. Now, when you go to something like this is what I'm working on now. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we used to call it the mansion. It's you might have saw this on TV, actually on WGN. They were out there when we did the demolition. So a property right across from Homewood Phosphor High School was built by Ken Norman, who was a pro basketball player in the NBA for about 13 years, kind of a local legend. Built his dream house on 2 acres on a golf course across the street from the high school. Well, it went vacant. They got divorced. The wife never made payments. It was foreclosure. It was vacant. Everybody wanted it tore down. Well, guess what? I tore it down. And this is one of the deals that I'm working on. We're going to build a 36-unit apartment complex with a terrace on the roof overlooking the golf course, and also an area where they have a lot of people are working out of home. So we'll have like a little home office, have an office area on the first floor. So this first floor here is all parking. Then this is residential. So when it comes to funding something like this, it's a little bit different than the other partnerships that I've created. So what I'm doing is crowdfunding this. And I want you to think about a couple things. Purchasing that off of that list that Hugo had, that first way to partnership that I showed you would be great for that, right? And even the second way could be a possibility. But on this particular thing, this particular project, it's all to a different level. But this same funding that I'm using to do this, if you grow your business, you could be buying that 85 or 86 or 84 properties that you want, and then you could wholesale them out to a group like this. You could actually buy under contract the whole thing because you could fund the deal. So go ahead, next slide. This just kind of show you, this is myself, we're knocking down the building. This is the mayor of Flossmoor. This is the developer that I've hired. This is what the building's gonna look like. This is our golf course here, golf course there, high school's right across the street there. Here's the configuration, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. Here's that little office common area that I was talking about. Okay, next slide. Okay, so ways that we could fund it. One, we could do 100% crowdfunding. I'm gonna talk more at the end about crowdfunding. Could do 100% crowdfunding. By the way, my little disclaimer here is for instructional purposes. Crowdfunding is very regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. There's certain things I can say and cannot say. So this is just going to be for an example right now. All right. So 100% crowdfunding of a project is a possibility. Go ahead. Next slide. Another thing that you could do is you could have equity partners, and the equity partners could come up with maybe 20%, let's say, of the deal, and you could crowdfund the other 80%. So this would be kind of like seed capital. And then the next slide is what we're looking at doing with this particular project. Sure, one more. Uh-oh. Oh, Doug. Oh, go back one more. Yeah, that slide didn't get on there for some reason. What we're actually going to do is we're going to crowdfund. Oh, you know, this is it. This is it. I used to have it looking differently. This is it. We're probably going to crowdfund about 1.6 million of the project and then get conventional loans for the other 80. So we'll have an account that has 1.6 million in it for the company, and then that'll be pretty easy to go to the bank now and to get the balance of a $5 to $6 million project. So this is something that you could do. You could create a company. Now, they won't own the building, the crowdfunding members. They'll own the company that owns the building. So it's very important to distinguish between that. So crowdfunding, you can start a business, a flipping business. You could raise capital that way. So I'm partnering with someone that has the security license that's been doing crowdfunding for businesses of all different types. And I'm going to be their marketing arm for real estate. So one more slide. The real estate, oh, by the way, just some of you might be deer in headlights when it comes to crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is a way that the government kind of put together for us in order to have everybody be able to participate in something exciting with high potential. You know, the laws protected the little grandmother with not much money. They were intended for really good reasons, or maybe a poor person with not much money. The intent was really good, that a non-accredited investor could take advantage of these things or being taken advantage of. The downside really is that they'll never have an opportunity to maybe do something special that would actually turn into a lot. To be the first investors in Facebook, or the first investors of, you know, another great startup company, Amazon, right? They could never do that because they had to be an accredited investor. Well, this crowdfunding allows non-accredited investors to participate with limits in startup companies, startup ventures. So anybody, no matter how much money little grandma can invest $2,200 in crowdfunding every 12 months. So it doesn't matter what their limit is. Other than that, starts to go in. It really is a formula based on income. So the more money you make, the more the government allows you to invest in a crowdfunding in a 12-month period. If you're an accredited investor, it's basically unlimited. You can fund the whole thing if you wanted. You could fund $5 to $6 million if you wanted to as an accredited investor. Not accredited investor, there's limits on how much you can invest in. So if you've never done crowdfunding before, I would invite you to consider this. Take a small amount of money, invest it into the crowdfunding of maybe this project because it's local. Usually crowdfunding, you won't see something local. If you want to be a part of this particular development, you can be a partner in this development. And then you can see the experience of crowdfunding from an investor standpoint. And that should give you a good foundation if you ever now want to use crowdfunding, my crowdfunding site, as an entrepreneur to raise up to $5 million. So that's kind of why what Hugo and I talked about is, this is something that it's not done every day, and you're not going to use crowdfunding for an everyday real estate deal, but it's something that's out there that we want to make you aware of. And hopefully you'll be excited to participate in something maybe local, and then turn that into maybe a way for you to scale your business beyond your wildest dreams, right? If you had $5 million in a real estate business, what would you do? Now you have to write the offering and all that type of thing. And that all has to, by the way, I can't even talk about the numbers of the building, right? I told you it was a 36 unit. That's about it. That's about the only number I said in the whole thing was 36. And that was the number of units. But as far as projections, income, ROI, nothing like that can be discussed. It all has to be through the portal. That's how they regulate crowdfunding, is it needs to be on an approved portal, and the offering needs to be approved. Everything's controlled by the Security Exchange Commission. That way I can't tell you, oh, it's going to make X amount of money or something, and that's why you invested. Because no, nothing will ever be talked about as far as the numbers go that's outside the portal. Now you can go there now. It's live, but we're still making tweaks to it. Some of the content text needs to be changed a little bit. I think you can click on the investor. An investor means, oh, I'm going to invest in a project. And I think it may capture your email address, and we can send reminders out when the offering goes live, which might be 2 to 3 weeks before it's live. And they're also entrepreneur. You click on that, and that's, oh, I've got an offering that I want to fund through your platform. Everybody kind of thinks of GoFundMe. That's kind of common use, right? This is kind of like GoFundMe for real estate. It's all regulated, though, as a crowdfunding security. Okay, any questions? Pardon me? My cell number? Yeah, 815-557-4458. You're missing my instructions. So Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I have a lot of rehabs going on with alarm systems connected to my phone, and I sleep right there. So don't even text me other than those hours. Sunday's my Lord's Day. Try not to bother me on Sunday if possible. But yeah, feel free to reach out. And that's my email address, 815-557-4458. Yeah, that's just in the way there. Yeah. And then my email address, I have other email addresses. I have cards up here. That's my realtor email addresses up here. Or you can also go Randy Pertler at onlineowners.com. Any questions online? Is anybody still awake online? Somebody come up here just so I hear somebody's voice. Like how Hugo did it when he was getting the signal from online. It was kind of like, all right. Yes, God, what are you saying? All right, nothing? Okay. No questions online. All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks for, we do it. One last, do you have a question or not? Quick question? Oh, no, most of my I flips, rentals, 1 unit, multi-units. Yeah, just about everything. This will actually be my first new construction, this 36 unit building. I've got a lot of gut rehabs. This will be my first ground up new construction. Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
We have. Yeah. You know, for the right price, anything's possible, you know. Just better book it during the week, because on the weekends, baby, it gets pricey. Yeah, that would be, no, seriously, think about it.
Oh, Flossmore, right?
Yeah, for that development.
For that property that you have. Where is Airbnb? Oh, McHenry. Leave it off as right. Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, guys. So, are there any other questions? Are you guys ready to do deals? That should be the question, right? So yeah, please get the list if you need. We've done obviously some due diligence on the properties, so you can connect with some of the deal makers. If you want some heads up on the inventory, the 84 property, they can share that with you. So yeah, again, most of the deal makers are on this side of the room. You can chat with them if you want some further information on some of these properties. If you want to become part of the group, that'll be amazing. So if no further questions, yeah, thank you everyone. One more question. Okay, so the question is, where are all the properties that we are sourcing? Everywhere, from Chicago to, I've seen in Waukegan, Zion, Joliet, South Suburbs, pretty much everyone. Off market, that's our focus, but now MLS as well. We're getting great deals from the MLS. So far, 3 deals, MLS, but our focus and objective is off market. So again, let's quickly summarize. What is it that you need? You need deals, you need to line up funding, and you need partnerships. That's super critical, okay? So if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, we'll help you fill in with the right individual. Okay, so come forward if you're not part of the group. If you have questions, if not, Phil can call you lovely tonight to help you get started with the Deal Makers family. So thank you everyone for coming. Please get the list. Yeah, one more question. Yes.
Here you go, David. Quick question. With
Yes,
the 84
David.
where to wholesale it, how do we structure the closing costs? Is that closing cost going to be paid by the end buyer?
Great question. How do we structure the closing expenses if you're going to wholesale the property? It's 50-50. That's a good thing. So typically, all off-market properties, the buyer pays for all closing expenses. In this case, it's going to be 50-50. So whatever the seller's typical closing expenses are, the seller is going to pay for them. So this is really good. Again, earnest money is refundable. If you back out, based on the outcome of the appraisal, your money is refunded for the earnest money. So that's why we're pulling the trigger left and right on all these properties.
Right, and we want 3% of the purchase price for earnest money.
Yeah, 3% for the purchase price for the earnest money. Thank you, David. Great. So if no further questions, come see me, and then you guys can network as well. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. I look forward to hearing from you on these 84 properties. If you find one that you're interested in, let us know through support, and then we'll make sure that we send you the ones that are no longer available. So please get the list for free. Thank you for joining everyone tonight.